Hey guys, I'm WPTV First Alert meteorologist Kahtia Hall, and thank you so much for joining us for our third Kaht in the Lab segment. This is where we talk about the weather, and it is a Facebook Live, so you are free to ask questions, comment, and comment on whatever you'd like. I'm trying to get the feed loaded up so that way I can see all of your comments below. But the last week we talked about air pressure, the week before we talked about temperature, and this week we are going to be talking about clouds. We're going to talk about how they form, why they float in the sky, and we'll talk about the different cloud types. And then we are going to make a cloud in a bottle or a jar. So here's what you're going to need for today. You're going to need a jar or a bottle, hairspray, boiling water. So you're going to need some adult supervision for that, ice, and food coloring. That's optional. If you've got it, great. If you don't worry about it. So that's all the materials you're going to need for the cloud in a jar. So let's talk about how does a cloud even form? Well, it all starts with the sun and water at the ground. So things like oceans, rivers, lakes, even a puddle. The sun heats up that water at the ground, and that water turns into a gas we call water vapor. And this air, because it's lighter than the surrounding air, starts to rise up. So does anybody want to guess what that's called? Evaporation. Good job. So that's one part of the water cycle. That gassy air, not what you're thinking, the water vapor, the gassy air starts to rise higher and higher and higher into the sky until it gets so cold, because the higher up you go, the colder it gets. And what happens? This vapor turns back into a liquid, and this is what we call condensation. These liquid droplets start to stick onto things like smoke, dust in the air, all the extra stuff in the air. And then they start to bounce together, stick together. They grow bigger and bigger until it's big enough to see. And that's when you get a cloud. So that is how a cloud is formed. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Carly and Rebecca. Nice seeing you guys. I miss you guys. We've got Jordan watching. Thank you so much. As I mentioned, you guys feel free to comment below, ask questions, whatever it may be. So we just talked about how a cloud forms, and I just want to talk about clouds weigh a whole lot. In fact, they weigh as much as 100 elephants. And last week, if you remember, we were talking about air pressure and how air is constantly being pressed down to the surface. So why don't clouds go down to the ground? Well, it's because air is constantly rising, and so that rising air causes that cloud to stay up high into the sky. There's about 10 different cloud types. They're all based on their height and their shapes. So we have low-level clouds. These clouds form below 6,500 feet. We have middle clouds, and these clouds form about 6,500 to around 18,000 feet. And then we have high clouds, and these clouds form above 18,000 feet. So let's take a look at the low clouds. And one of the most popular clouds, probably one of your favorite clouds, is the cumulus cloud. And cumulo in Latin means pile. So that's basically what it is. It's a pile of cotton balls in the sky. So they look like big cotton balls. These are really cool clouds. And if you see a cloud like this, it usually means that we will see nice weather for the day. The next low cloud that we'll talk about is stratus clouds. And strato in Latin means layer. So it looks like a layered cloud or blanket in the sky. And if you see a cloud like this, it usually means it's going to be kind of an overcast, maybe even drizzly day. Another low cloud, stratocumulus cloud. And this I like to think of as if you were to take a knife and kind of just spread out a cumulus cloud. That's what that looks like. It almost looks like a honeycomb in the sky. And if you see a cloud like this, it usually means that there is pretty quiet weather on the horizon. Let's take a look at our middle clouds. Now, in Latin, alto means middle. So you'll notice that alto is usually the word in front of these types of clouds. So this is an alto cumulus cloud. So you're thinking alto, okay, middle, cumulus, and we know cumulus means pile. So this is basically a middle pile-up cloud. And they look like rows of fluffy ripples, and it usually means that change is on the way. Our next cloud, altostratus. alto, middle, stratus. Okay, stratus is layered, so put those two together, you get a middle layered cloud. And these clouds cover the entire sky, and it usually means that storms are on the way. Another cloud, this is the nimbostratus cloud. In Latin, nimbus or nimbo means rain. And we've got stratus, layer, okay. Nimbostratus, you put those two together, what do you get? You get a layered rain cloud. So if you see a cloud like this, you're going to want to grab an umbrella because it usually means that rain is on the way. Let's move up even higher. We've got our high clouds, and our most common type of high cloud is our cirrus cloud. And cirrus in Latin means hair. So that's what they look like up in the sky. They look like curls of hair in the sky or feathery like clouds. And this can mean that we'll see fair weather or maybe changes on the way. Of course, take those meanings with a grain of salt. Another high cloud, the cirrostratus cloud. You put cirrus together, meaning hair, stratus, layer. So you've got kind of a layered hairy cloud, I guess. It's kind of a blanket layered cloud. It almost looks like a veil over the sky, and it can mean that rain is possible in the next 24 hours. We've got two more clouds to get to. Hi, Patricia. One of the last ones, cirrocumulus cloud, and these look like scales of fish in the sky, and it can mean that cooler weather is on the horizon. My favorite cloud, and this cloud, can be in all the layers of the atmosphere. So it can be in the low, middle, and high. Does anybody want to guess what it is? I'll kind of wait for your responses here. Anybody want to guess what kind of cloud covers all the layers of the atmosphere? All right, whatever, I'll give it to you. This is a cumulonimbus cloud. And so you think cumulus, what does cumulus mean? Pile up. Nimbus means rain. You put that together, it's a pile up rain cloud. So that's pretty much what it is. And these are our big thunderstorm clouds. It means that rain and potentially even severe weather is on the way. And with severe weather in the forecast potentially tomorrow, maybe even Saturday here in South Florida, I want you to look up in the sky tomorrow and see if you see these clouds. And if you start seeing these clouds, you know we could be looking at a round of severe weather. Now, there's all different kinds of cloud types. So I did put on my Facebook page a cloud identification chart. And so I encourage you to print this off, maybe go outside, look up in the sky, and start identifying clouds. And you're going to get pretty good at it. I know my fiance, I always quiz him on all of the cloud types. He's gotten really good at it. So it's kind of a fun thing to do. Also, you can, point out a cloud like, oh, that's a cirrus cloud, so I know this is going to happen today, possibly. So anyways, that's pretty cool. So go ahead and go on my Facebook page, check out that cloud identification chart, and start identifying clouds. All right, now we are going to make a cloud in a jar or a bottle. So let me not forget, I'm going to put on my little lab coat here. If you want to put on a lab coat, you go ahead and do that too. Or maybe if you want to throw on some goggles, whatever you want, just to get ready. All right, so first you're going to need some ice. What else we got? Oh, hairspray. Doesn't matter what kind. Food coloring. Oh, I need a top for this. And then Adrian has been so kind to heat up the water for me. Sorry, Adrian, it's really hot. Thank you, you're so sweet. I thought that we had a stovetop here, and we don't. So if you can boil water, that will work best. But if you don't have that, I guess you can microwave the water. Just be careful when you carry that water. Again, adult supervision. Kids, don't do this alone, okay? All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our jar here, and I'm just going to put some food coloring in it. Again, this is optional, so you don't have to put food coloring in the jar. But it just kind of helps you see the cloud a little more clearly. Okay, so now we've got this hot water. Here's what I want you to do. Take your hairspray and spray some of that inside the jar. Cover up the top, okay? So now we've got that covered. And then you're going to take some ice and put that on top of the jar, okay? And I've got to wait a second here because if you have boiling water, you'll notice the cloud will form very quickly. But it looks like it's starting to go here a little bit. So you can see a cloud forming in the jar. Do you guys see that right there? Adrian, can you see it? All right, cool. So you can kind of see that. Of course, I'm a little far away. Maybe I can kind of move up a little bit closer. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, so let's talk about what is happening here. Why do we have this cloud? Well, it's due to that same process that we were talking about earlier, how a cloud is formed. So by heating up the water, we're creating water vapor. What happens with the water vapor? It rises up until it gets cool enough, and that's why we have ice at the top. It turns back into a liquid, and it needs something to cling on, right? We talked it needs something, the dust or the smoke or whatever it may be. That's why we put the hairspray in. So that's the extra stuff that the droplets are clinging onto. They are bumping into each other, they are growing, they're getting bigger until they're big enough to see. And if you want, you can take off the top. This might work better with the boiling water. It worked a little bit better with boiling water yesterday, but you take off the top and you may be able to see the cloud kind of, oh, there you go. Do you see it? The cloud come out of the jar. So a really fun experiment. I hope you learned a lot about clouds. Again, if you have any questions about clouds, whatever it may be, then just write it below and I'll make sure to answer it for you. Hi, Aiden. Sorry, I'm saying hello to everybody. Ellen, my girl. Nice to see you. Beth, hello. She says she is a teacher. Thank you for all of your hard work. My sister is a teacher, and she says that this time is just crazy having to try to get the kids to do their homework and whatever it may be. So we appreciate all the work that you're doing. Again, Carly and Rebecca, hi there from Bakersfield. I miss you girls. And my girl Carly, she wants to be a meteorologist when she grows up too, so woohoo, yahoo. All right, so I know some people are saying we missed it. It's okay, this will be a video that you can watch back, so it's not like, oh, we're live and we're done. No, this video will be on our WPTV Facebook page. It will be online as well, WPTV.com, and then I'll also have it on my Facebook page as well. All right, see you guys later.